But when you seek first the kingdom and you walk in love and you cover everything, a multitude of everything in love, you're walking in a grace that's hard to describe. You can hardly teach it, and people can hardly relate to it because we've been self-centered. I'm not spanking you. I'm cheering you on. I'm saying, why don't we all just go after this thing? Why don't we all just learn what it means to love each other and not believe we're being passive over a doormat? Cut me a break. Was Jesus a doormat? People say, well, brother, I ain't letting nobody walk over me. Nobody walked over Jesus. He did what he did willingly to show us what love looked like. He's amazing. He's the living epistle of love. He's so powerful hanging on that cross, standing in front of Pilate, so impressive. He's the one that was and is to come, King of kings and Lord of lords. And he's standing there like a beaten man and won't say a word. Why? So you can get filled with his spirit one day. Not so you can complain, not so you can stand for your own rights, not so you can have issues and get mad at God because you didn't get the promotion. So now you ain't praying for a while. I hope we're okay today. This is a different kind of service for me. I'm not even sure what's going on. Are you okay? Here's what I do know. Here's what I do know. That family that owned that dog, I ain't seen them since. But I know that had to touch them. I know that had to affect them. I don't know how you escape that kind of stuff. I don't think you just put that on the back burner. Something I saw years and years ago. I just shared it last week at my buddy's church. And here's where I learned this stuff. Guess who I learned it from? Jesus. It's his fault. If you don't agree with me, write him an email. It's his fault. Because here's what I saw Jesus do. I saw Jesus getting arrested. I saw Jesus getting arrested for doing nothing wrong and everything right. I saw him coming with clubs and swords, and they're coming to get him and take him, and it ain't good. They're going to bind him up. They're going to spit on him. They're going to pull out his beard. They're going to mock him. They're going to beat him, and he done nothing wrong. And his men are around him. He's crying out for humanity, and he's finding the strength to walk through this thing. And they come to get him, and Peter jumps in the way, and he swings the sword, and what's he do? Cuts off the ear of Malchus. Don't think he was trying to trim his ear. Guys, he's not like giving him a warning strike. Stay back. No, he's swinging for the throat. He's swinging for the kill. He's trying to protect Jesus. The dude must have ducked. Swoop, ear. What's Jesus do? Does he walk over to Malchus and say, well, son, guess a man reaps what he sows. You on the wrong side of the fence, pal. Huh. Bad company corrupts good values and morals. It's going to be in the book of Romans when I finally write the word. I would think you learned from this man. Probably ought to jump fence here, huh? He never said a word to Malchus. Guess what he said? Peter. Huh? This is my translation. What? Peter, put away your sword. Look, if you live by the sword, you'll die. What's he saying? Peter, you've been with me all this time, and you're still like them? You've been with me all this time, and you're still living like them. You're still... And if you live that way, you'll die that way. While he's doing that, guess what he's doing? He fixes Malchus's ear. Now, I know there's debate. Did he put the ear that got cut off on? Did he grow a new? I don't care. I don't care at all. Here's what I care about. He fixed him and never said a word to him. Peter, put away your sword. What? Peter, and Malchus, put yourself in his shoes. This is real. It's not a movie script. This happened. He's going, he's freaked out. He's got to be freaked out. What do you do if you're Malchus? How do you escape that? They're tying Jesus up and taking him down the road and whacking him and Malchus is like, he's got to have blood all over him. Like, dude, what happened? Are you okay? Was there a fight? He gets back to town. Don't think people were like, what's going on? He's got to have blood all over him. Guys, when we're shaving and the razor just nicks you on the edge of the nose, you can fill a Red Cross bag. It's like, somebody dings their head in a car wreck and it's this big cobweb. It looks like they're dying and it's a nick. You cut up around cartilages or you cut a piece of ear off. But there ain't nothing wrong with his ear. Try to explain that. What happened to you? How come you're all bloody? One of his guys cut my ear off. No kidding. What do you mean cut your ear off? Your ear's fine. Well, I know. The guy we're beating? He fixed it. What do you mean? He just went like that and he fixed it. What? That's Jesus' evangelism. That's what it means. He said, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. Give to those who spitefully use you. He didn't say file a complaint, get an attorney, file a lawsuit. Stand for what's yours. Picket, protest. He didn't say it. Why am I going to pray for those who persecute and give to those who, why would I do that? So you may be sons of your Father in heaven, who causes the rain and the sun to come upon the righteous and the unrighteous. For if you love only those who love you, what credit is it to you? People that don't even know God do as much. Scripture. So here's Jesus. He's such a cool leader, an example, and role model, and Lord, that he didn't just preach at us. He shows us what it looks like to love what seems to be your enemy, because your war's not flesh and blood. And he heals a young man named Malchus, and he rebukes his disciple for being like them, and he goes and dies on a cross. What do you think happened to Malchus when he heard the gospel? What do you think Malchus did when he heard Jesus raised from the dead? I can't prove this, but I'm sure of this. We'll see him in everlasting life, because you can't escape that kind of love. And he said, as I am, so you be. And the things I do, you'll do if you believe. So what's my goal this morning? To stir your believer, to get you out of you and into him, and throw away the right to be anything that doesn't look like him, sound like him, or love like him. That's my goal this morning. And I'm out of time, and I hopefully did my goal. You getting something? Hey, that impresses me. Men a dime a dozen, are just going to have issues with Malchus and agree with Peter. But who's willing to put the ear back on and say, hey, let's stop living like the world when we're of Christ. And let's walk in the light as he's in the light. And we're in the world, but we are not of it. So let's come out from among them and be ye separate. Let's not get caught up in the attitude of the world, mind of the world. It says, if you have the world in you and the love of the world in you and the things of the world in you, the love of the Father's not in you. You can't have both. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of life. He said, if you have any of those things in your life, the love of the Father cannot be in you. You all good? So let's live born again.